right, everybody. So we're going to follow up our unit circle lesson with why we're even using it. We're going to talk about how we can end up with finding sine and cosine of these special angles without needing a calculator, only by using our unit circle. Now, you remember we built this unit circle with our right triangles. Okay, so let's go back and let's go through the process that we used to get all of these sides and start making a correlation to why we want to understand our unit circle and be able to use it for these special angles. Okay, so if you remember, we had this special right triangle that was a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, where 90, and then this other side over here was, this angle over here was our 60. Okay, if you remember the numbers we ended up with, the short side was a half, and the long side was square root of 3 over 2. Okay? We're not going to deal with tangent just today, so you don't have to end up copying this down in your notes. But in terms of what you need in your notes, I would definitely use your sine and cosine functions. Remember, sine is, if you remember your trigonometric word, SOHCAHTOA, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so let's say we're looking at this particular right triangle, and I wanted to talk about doing sine of 30 degrees. Well, with this particular right triangle, the opposite side is a half, and the hypotenuse, SOH, opposite of hypotenuse, is a 1. Well, what happens when you take 1/2 and you divide it by 1? 1/2 divided by 1 is a half. So it turns out that we can quickly figure out that sine of 30 degrees is a half. Okay? Well, what if I wanted to do sine of 60 degrees? Opposite would be square root of 3 over 2 over hypotenuse, which is 1. And when you divide anything by 1, you get the same thing back. So you get square root of 3 over 2. Okay, now let me show you that that is the actual case when we do our calculations. Okay, let's do sine of 30 degrees. If I do sine of 30 degrees, I'm going to get 0.5 or 1/2. What if I do sine of 60 degrees? Sine of 60 degrees is that 0.866 number, which we talked about last time, was really the actual value is square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so this gives us a way of quickly memorizing that. I'm going to connect it here to the unit circle in just a second. Okay. So if I look at, you remember how we built that unit circle? We put that 30-degree angle right there. Do you remember the coordinate that we ended up with right here? Well, you remember the opposite side, the short side was a half, and this side was a square root of 3 over 2. So we said that the coordinate was, x value is square root of 3 over 2, and then the y value is a half. Okay, so at 30 degrees, we ended up with that.